Versatile Mage. Chapter 284. A terrifying giant lizard. Out in the garden, Mo Fan and Bai Tingting stared at the building before them with blank faces. The vines coiling around the building began to wriggle as if they had come alive. It looked like they were competing for the food they had just discovered. It was their first time seeing such a sight, as most magicians were used to treating plants as harmless. Even when a place was overgrown with vines, they only kept an eye out for anything alive. They had never expected that the entire plant was, in fact, a demon beast, and its vines and branches were as deadly as weapons. What should we do now? They're being trapped inside. Bai Tingting exclaimed urgently. The thick plant looked sturdier than the concrete walls. The group had already ventured deep into the building, so it would be extremely difficult for them to barge their way out. After all, the situation was similar to jumping into a giant beast's esophagus. Look up. Mo Fan pointed at the second layer of the administration building, which was the giant structure above the base. Bai Tingting raised her head and felt her scalp going numb. She could see a giant, hideous brain sticking out from the structure. The brain did not look like an animal's, but resembled the shape of a tree stump. If it weren't for the huge mouth that had suddenly opened up, no one would assume it to be alive. The stump-shaped brain took up almost the entire second layer. Its endless vines were like nutrition pipes connected to its throat. From afar, it looked like a demon covered in tree bark, sucking at something. A pseudomorphing demon beast. Bai Tingting took a deep breath. She experienced tremendous shock, as it was her first time seeing such a monster with her own eyes. Can someone tell me if this thing is a plant or a demon beast? Mo Fan subconsciously took a step backward. The thing was literally a demon. It was using the administration building as its disguise, and the place looked so calm and peaceful, luring others to use it as a temporary rest stop. The fact that there were no demon beasts roaming nearby was a clear indication that this place was extremely dangerous. Anything alive would surely end up in the demon's stomach, as it was a master of disguise. The unwary all became nutrients for its growth. It's considered a demon beast with a purer lineage, extremely difficult to deal with once it's mature. Since it is scared of light, it will only reside in gloomy places. Somehow the administration building has become its natural habitat, which it could attach to as it grows, perfect for blocking sunlight. Its prey would present themselves conveniently. Bai Tingting was surely the top student in the study of demon beasts. She had managed to recognize a species that even the public had rarely heard of. I hope it's not commander level. I'll try attacking it with my fire. Mo Fan said. Don't provoke it. Fire isn't very effective against it. Even double the size of our team has no chance against a pseudomorphing demon beast. Bai Tingting immediately stopped him. So they're pretty much dead. Mo Fan was stunned. Most likely, they would be wiped out within 10 minutes if the team did not have a light magician. Bai Tingting frowned. She had decided to stay because of Mo Fan, as she had a good impression of the man who had saved her life. To her surprise, that random thought had prevented her from stepping into such a terrifying trap. There was nothing the two could do. They would be committing suicide if they went inside. They could only wait and reinforce the group if they managed to reach the entrance. Mo Fan felt his heart sinking. He could not care less about most of the others, but that did not include Mu Ningzhu, Mu Nujiao, and Zhao Manting. However, if fire wasn't effective against it, and lightning was also useless against plants, there was nothing he could do but wait outside. As the two panicked, a black gust suddenly swept toward them like a tide, knocking the trees and everything else along the way aside. Objects on the ground rattled as a rusted bike was blown into the air before smashing into one of the buildings nearby, causing pieces of metal to fly wildly. Mo Fan and Bai Tingting were totally clueless as to what was happening. Their breathing intensified as cold sweat came out. The two exchanged glances and saw the fear and disturbance in each other's eyes. In the midst of the black tornado, a pair of giant wings enlarged as they moved rapidly toward the two. Under the wings was the body of a giant lizard. Its thick skin was fully covered with lumps, all the way from its head to the tip of its tail. Its long tail was half curled, and towards its end was a sharp edge which flickered sharply under the sunlight. "Run!" Mo Fan blurted out. The formidable aura alone almost suffocated them. Those with a slightly weaker mental state would instantly fall unconscious. It was Mo Fan's first time experiencing such an overwhelming aura from a living beast, to the extent that his mind was swarmed with the urge to flee for his life. Bai Tingting froze on the spot. She could only look at Mo Fan with a pale face. Mo Fan grabbed her wrist. He could not care less about concealing his strength under such circumstances, and quickly cast Fleeing Shadow. Damn it, the alignment keeps failing. Mo Fan could not even cast Fleeing Shadow smoothly. It only worked after breaking 4 times in a row. Dragging Bai Tingting with him, Mo Fan turned into a puff of shadow and ran along the walls around the administration building. His shadow quickly moved to the street with shady trees. After moving a great distance away, almost a street apart, the overwhelming presence finally became weaker. You have 4 elements. Bai Tingting stared at Mo Fan in disbelief, her mind totally blank. I'll explain it to you some other time. Mo Fan turned around and glanced at the administration building. The giant lizard had already flown up to the 3rd layer of the building, which consisted of an extended balcony. It circled above the building like an eagle. Suddenly, it flapped its giant wings and dove toward the 2nd layer of the building. Its mouth was wide open like a cave, its fangs like stalactites hanging right above. The giant lizard tore right at the structure, shattering the cement to pieces, like popping bubbles. Its actual target was the brain of the pseudomorphing demon beast. As its fangs bit down, the pseudomorphing demon beast let out an ear-piercing scream across the entire city. The vines wrapping around the entire building thrashed wildly, almost tearing the whole place down. The pseudomorphing demon beast struggled violently, using its vines to wrap around the giant lizard. Countless vines were drawn out from the windows of the administration building. They began to wrap the giant lizard like tentacles, trying to pull it away from its head. Unfortunately, the vines were as fragile as spiderwebs to the giant lizard. It easily tore them apart with a casual rending before biting even harder. The pseudomorphing demon beast was totally helpless against it. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.